being a good marketer, product marketer, you are constantly having to experiment, constantly having to try new things because you are at a war of interest. Goals are what determines the metric I track as a goal person. What are the goals I'm trying to achieve? Because are we? It's like in football, right? Are we trying to score points, or are we trying to win the game? Everybody think marketing is so easy till they start to market. It's not just products; it's mindset. We are trying to buy into people's mindset. Hi, my name is Emmanuel Ojo, and you are listening to the Spotlight podcast.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Spotlight. This podcast is for curious minds and aspiring innovators who are leading the charge in the research revolution. We dive deep to discuss inspiring, informative, and offbeat conversations on product, research, and strategy. My name is Iwalola Shoboale, and I am a product research and strategy lead at a leading technology company in Nigeria. As you listen to this insightful episode, remember to follow the podcast wherever you listen, give it a 5-star rating, and send any questions or feedback that you might have to the form linked in the show notes. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today is Emmanuel Ojo, a rising star who is making waves as a dynamic and ambitious growth marketer. With a hunger for knowledge, a thirst for experimentation, and a natural flair for driving growth, he has become an invaluable asset to his organization. In this episode, we have the opportunity to delve into his mind as a talented growth marketer and explore his unique experiences, perspectives, and aspirations. We will discover the challenges he has faced, the lessons learned, and the exciting projects he's currently working on. We will also uncover the synergies between product research, strategy, and growth from his perspective, with inspiring and innovative ideas as he navigates the world of growth marketing. Without further ado, let's dive in. So, hello, Emmanuel.
Uh,
Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Iwalola. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. Feels good to be here.
Awesome. I need you to sound more energized. We're going to go into an icebreaker.
Okay. All right.
So this is this or that. I'll ask you a series of this or that like questions.
Okay.
So for example, ask you something like books or movies. So you have to respond very quickly without thinking too much.
Okay.
Respond with your preference.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm excited.
So the idea is I will get to know a little bit about you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so first let me start easy. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Okay. Uh, why was that slow?
I had to think. I had to think about it.
Okay. 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 Okay, let me get a bit more specific now.
Okay.
In-person events or virtual
In
events?
person. In person event.
Okay, so you're not an introvert,
No, I'm not.
you're an
I'm
extrovert.
a life of the
Okay.
party.
Also, I don't think I don't think I even be an introvert with your job. Okay. Let me ask you a hard one. Okay. Collaborating with sales or collaborating with product teams?
Ah, product. I'm collaborating with product teams. Nah, I take
Wait, I
that
have to
back.
ask you
Collaborating with
why.
sales. I take that back.
Okay. I have to ask you why. I want to know why.
I've collaborating with sales. Many times, we're all about preaching solutions. So it's in sync. It's parallel. Like it's line of sight.
Okay.
Yes, it's just
Okay. Okay. Another one. This one is going to be hard.
okay.
Maybe it's in Misha. Okay, traditional advertising or digital marketing.
Ha. Uh, uh, this is a setup.
As in, can you
um,
actually choose one?
digital marketing. Yeah, digital marketing.
Okay, well, to be honest, To be honest, I don't even know if you can really choose one between those,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
was hard. Okay.
yeah. That was
So let
hard.
me just ask you one last one.
Okay.
This one. Okay, influencer marketing or content marketing?
Ha. Can I skip? I have.
Why?
I have brothers and sisters that are in both worlds.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So I think we know a little bit about you now. We know that you you prefer Apple iOS to Android. Although I think that one I had the knife at your throat. Just had to make
Big shout out
just
to
had to make a choice.
Samsung, but yeah,
Yeah. Okay. You prefer coffee to tea.
yeah.
You prefer in-person events to virtual events, and I think you couldn't really decide if you prefer to collaborate with sales or product teams, right? Well, yeah, I think that's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. Okay. Let's get into the episode. I really would like for you to like share a bit of your background. Like, how did you even get into product marketing?
Um, Thank you again for having me, Walola. To answer your question, I would say payment is everything. Like, how I got into like the payment and financial services, being in marketing. I think it's one thing we share in common as adults, like payments. And when we build solutions, we actually like build solutions to help simplify. And marketing found me, if I can put it like that, because I didn't major in marketing. Um, I majored in computer science, and like every aspiring innovator out there, I used to be heavy in software and web development, but many times I used to be in like ideation session where we talk about the problems and how we will solve them, creating solutions. But many times I find myself in that loop of how do we tell people that this is what we have built. Yes, okay. We For each loop, when we talk about the old technical jargons, I find myself like, okay, how do we now start to tell people? How do we now start to let them to use this old solution, this old website, this old portal, this whole solution that we're building per se. So all of that started, build my perception, my perspective now gradually shifted into digital marketing. The Google course was amazing. Yeah, there was a Google course. Built portfolio. I shoot my shot. I got a chance, and all of that. Then it's moved to product. How to build products, the right product we are building. Are we even building the right thing? How to even let people know that we're building the right thing? What do we, when we build this product, what do we need to reinvent? What do we need to remodify? So yeah, that move to products, attended schools, understanding user personas and how to communicate the right solutions to them. All of this for the present, and I think that's it. That's like my journey ongoing. So yeah, that's that's it.
That's super interesting.
That's
So
it.
you went from computer science now to product marketing. But can I even ask a question? This is something I'm always
Yeah,
so confused about. What's the difference between product marketing and growth marketing, or is it interchangeable?
that's like a tricky question. Um, some will argue that it's just roles, that like they're interchangeable. Some company use them interchangeably to mean the same, JD, but there's like a thin line between two. And one thing I can say, regards um, regardless of what's in front of the marketing, whether product, whether goods, there's uh, one constant thing is the both develop messaging, product positioning, and go to market plans. Big or small depends on where you are and the type of products that you're working on currently. They both work with product engineering, sales, customer success teams closely. Um, like I said, there's a thin line between them. Why one might work more to focus on creating awareness of to generate interests for the product, while the other might be identifying and implementing ways to reduce churn, increase conversion rate for sustainable customer acquisition. It's really a thin line. You might actually find yourself doing all regardless of the title. So it's a thin line between the both of them. Yeah.
So how can someone who is interested in growth marketing, how can they get into the field? Do you have any recommendations? Where can they start? You know, I think I
um
would appreciate if you share.
I feel like it has to start with self. It might be cliche, but yeah. um do I want to go usage end to end? All of those questions you need to like ask yourself. Do I want to manage with influence? Do I want to fail fast? Do I have a fail fast mindset? I mean, say, do I want to be the go to person when things go south, especially when returns don't yield? But all of it begins with the grassroots of marketing. I had an opportunity to teach marketing basics. For me, that was learning. So you might whoever is trying to go into being a go marketer might check that out. Check those resources on basics on marketing. You want to learn about products, building, scaling. You want to join communities, of course, because like minds sharpen each other. You actually need to stay hungry. You need to be on top of trends. Like you all of this we actually build the marketing mindset. It will move you from seeing things differently to start seeing things from a marketing point of view. You actually want to follow your gut, build yourself and shoot your shots. That felt like a vibe now that I'm thinking about it. um yeah, that's pretty much like where you can start from. It actually starts from like picking up like marketing basics, then learning about products, what it takes to actually building a product, why a product is built, and yeah, that's like the 101 needed.
That is actually so like all encompassing. I feel like you really, really share some gems. Um for anyone starting out, it might sound like a lot, but I mean, I think, like you said, starting with self, I think that might be the most important bit. You also mentioned, joining a community, which I think is very valid. Like you said, like sharpens like, right? So that is, I think that's totally valid. Are there any books you're currently reading, or are there any podcasts you're listening to that you would like to recommend or mention?
I'm reading my Bible. uh, currently I'm heavy on mindset and strategy books right now. So there's a book called Zero to One by Peter. I can't remember the name right now, but that's what I'm at. Podcast for me is strictly learning. I I I I personally don't listen to podcasts for entertainment. Apologies to anyone out there, but it's just rare, one of a kind. But yeah, so podcast for me is straight for learning. So that of like product school, go mindset, product HQ, um, the spotlights. Yeah, I listen to the spotlight by Walola. Yeah, so that's like my podcast. That's what I put on with Puti.
Yay! All right, thank you so much for sharing that, Emmanuel. So, I think I'll probably get the links to the ones you mentioned,
Yeah.
and add them to the show notes.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So, what's been the hardest part of your journey so far? What would you say is like the part that really tested you?
The hardest part would be coming to the reality that some strategies don't work. Yeah, because being a good marketer, product marketer, you are constantly having to experiment, constantly having to try new things because you are at a war of interest. Permit me to put it like that. As much as we say fail fast, identify what works, what doesn't. Sometimes we bent on to say, I'm very certain about this. I have done research. It will work. Um, as evident as stopping might be, letting go, sunsetting, knowing when to sunset, uh, you know, coming to the reality that, or passing the information that we might need to sunset on campaign, sunset on product, sunset on the type of communication, sunset on positioning that a lot of resources has gone into, a lot of time has gone into. I think it was an hard part. Sailing that ocean was a great deal. I think, yeah, navigating that part was something that you had to learn. Yeah, yeah, I think that's like a hard part of the journey coming thus far.
You mentioned research, right?
Yeah.
How does research then contribute to you, create like crafting a strategy, especially in payments and financial services?
Research is key. Like, it can't be overemphasized. Research is key always. That's why, like, the right team will never underplays values from researchers as yourself. Apart from it defining what needs to be built for the core product team, like core product team by, like, I mean, engineers, product owners, managers. It helps us communicate the product to the product team what the customers need. By research, does the customer need more ways to engage with their family? Maybe we need to create a family payment plan where at one tap one person can pay bills for the family instantly, or we need to communicate that inward, for development, outward for improvements. It can't be overemphasized. Research helps to understand that even what we put out there is the right thing, or we are trying to put the right thing out there, because the human minds play differently, and when you're building products, we're building solutions for the human mind. So yeah, research can be overemphasized.
So what methods or techniques do you use to gather insights, for your research? What methods do you use to gather insights? You spoke about, building for human mind. So how do you get to know your customers' minds better? What techniques do you use?
Of course, while we define our own strengths, we're constantly aware of that of our competitors. So, like, me as a good person, while I define my strengths, I'm constantly aware of that of my competitors. So, analytical tools helps us gather informations. While it might, for some, they argue it is very, very quantitative because it's numbers and figures, but uh, to others, they argue data don't lie. So it helps us gather information on our product even as we market it. User interactions, who filled what, uh, when they filled, how they filled, what they filled. It gives us insight into user mind on their interests, what they're interested in, what suits of products they're interested in, or which suits of products they are trying to go for. You know, going into the fields, I would say social trends. What are people saying out there? In social media, what are they saying? We try to identify our user voice using the social media, how they speak. You know, market research, how they interact, how they even dress, how they move. Their lifestyle. This actually helps us gather insight on the behavior to understand, okay, when we build payment solutions, or when we build beyond payments anyway, when we build digital solutions, this is how we need to communicate it to them. This is how we need to position it to them, and all this in bits, helps us mold the cake. And yeah, that's like the overview of the different type of methods we put in place to gather insights on user behavior, as case may be.
That's really extensive. So how do you now know when your initiatives are successful? Like, what metrics do you track? Do you have those? Do you, like, I'm sure you will definitely plan ahead, the numbers you want to see. What kind of metrics do you track to know how successful, your initiatives have been?
Uh, what type of metric do we track? Um, what type of metric do I track? Number one thing to being like a go person, a product marketer, a go marketer. Sorry, I'll be using that interchangeably because I feel like we're all in the same window. Um, Goals are what determines the metric I track as a go person. What are the goals I'm trying to achieve? Because are we? It's like in football, right? Are we trying to score points, or are we trying to win the game? Do we need, it depends on different goals, or we are just playing this because we're just letting this go for a bigger game ahead. So, flipping it back into the conversation, it's goals are what determines the metric I track. As I said earlier, say for instance, I'm trying to increase our session time on an e-commerce product now. Because I have an assumption that if people spend more time scrolling to the endless list of shop items, they most definitely would see something they love, as opposed to maybe like, you just come to an e-commerce product, they make a search, they buy and leave. Of course, uh, you know, making all of these assumptions, I might need to validate my assumptions with research, with data. But if that's the case, I might want to like set forth like new type of strategies, that together with the product team that will requires maybe like our algorithm to include a mix of cheaper items or discounted items further down in the search list or further down in the home page, you know, then I now go ahead to communicate that, to watch for interactions. So all of this is assumptions. I'm just saying, but if I'm to make all of this assumption and put it into play and I focus on this, so some of the insights or KPIs that I want to focus on would be like session time of user, how many screens are viewed per user, how many activities are carried out, before checkout, how long was the checkout, all of this, will help track my hypothetical goal. So this is just an assumption. Flipping it back into any type of metric I want to track, it has to be in line with the goal. Do I want to like my goal is for customer acquisition? How many people sign up? How many people log in? How many people created accounts? How many people activated their account? All of this conversation is what brings insights into like what I'm tracking. So the overall goal is the umbrella that determines the type of metric we want to track. Yeah.
So, considering this, hypothetical scenario, right?
Yeah.
How do you know, or how do you determine which metrics are most important? Especially for like evaluating the performance of your initiative, and to, like, of course, drive continuous improvements. Because I imagine that some of your stakeholders would have other metrics they want to track. So
Yeah.
somebody maybe in product might say, oh, we want to track metrics around functionality, right? How
Yeah.
do you determine which metrics are most important or
Okay.
most relevant?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Back in what I said earlier, like you said also, like, each stakeholders have different things they want to track, to a product owner, to a technical product manager who is focused around API usage, or to the business team who focus around revenue. How do we track all of that? So, we work closely with the product team. we they have this there's this map where we do most value, least value, most easy, like there's that four box thing where we place items or the place features based on how valuable they are to the product and how least valuable they are to the products, then in line with how long it's going to take to build. So we adopt all of that into, then we now use that to determine, okay, based on the value, uh this is the user interaction that aligns to the value that has already been built. So like for instance, now let me come up with something from top of my head. Maybe like the product team has let us know that the biggest value for them right now is to increase the biggest value for them right now is to increase login time, like to reduce the time it takes for a product to log in. Maybe it takes about 1 minute for a product, for a user to log into their product, and most they are trying to see how to reduce that. So adopting all of this, we can put it into our own marketing initiative together with them to say we want to see how many people logs into the product. So creative, doing communication, having strategies and ideas, marketing plan that allows us track retention. How many people are coming to the product? So we want to check how many people are coming to the product by the time we acquire new users. How many of them are doing X type of thing? So by the time we say like, okay, X type of users are doing X type of thing in our product. So we can communicate that back to the product team to say X type of people are doing this. So that we actually judge their insight to say, okay, for them to do this within this amount of time, definitely our new initiative has brought value to us to understand that if we reduce the number of time it takes for a user to sign in into a product, it will also increase their chances to make X amount of interaction. So it's all about like working in together, with the team to draw those insights.
So speaking of working, with the team, I imagine that a good part of your time is spent collaborating. How do you now make sure that you foster good relationships with people you collaborate with? Because I imagine you're not necessarily in the same place at the same time with all these people. That could be a challenge. How do you
Yeah.
like kind of align all your goals, to in one chat, like in one to one goal? How do you align everybody's perspectives to one goal?
Um, of course, sometimes every one of us it's a big boardroom of different ideas. But always coming into the room with the mindset that your goal is my goal, you know, building solutions, enabling better life, optimizing the present. That is like the one thing that I have found to be very, very like helpful to foster relationship. Like coming in with the mindset that your goal is my goal. Then listening first. Yeah, listening first. Listening first. Always coming in with what and why, then allowing the subject experts define the how is how I've been able to foster relationships. So like this is what the customers are saying, this is the data that I'm seeing, and this is the interaction we've been able to deduce or derive from this. So allowing the product team or the sales team or the customer success team or the brand and design team determine how they will go about that helps streamline, helps grease a lot of friction, you know also like being the voice of the user and always coming in with feedbacks to help the team align is just like one how. So that's once you've been able to master all of this, I believe it helps with the best relationship building forward.
Hmm. But is it really that easy? Like practically?
It's
Oh,
well, to flipping it in real life, it's not it's not that it's not that like a walk in the park, of course. But one thing that's always work is listening first. You know, allowing them to explain. You know, um, this is what we want to go, this is what we want to achieve, this is what I'm looking at. Like I said, being the voice of the user and always coming with feedback. So feedback can be feedback like data, feedback can be like feedback like survey, feedback can be like seeing what people are saying on social media, feedback can be like app reviews. This is what people are saying about this that we built. So your goal is my goal, but this is what the users that are going to give us revenue. This is what the users are going to give us usage. This is what the users that are going to enable us have a seamless acquisition. This is what they are saying. So how do we merge your goal in line with what the users are saying? Because once we've been able to merge your goal in line with what the users are saying, then it becomes my goal. So I believe that, of course, it's not a walk in the park, but yeah, once you always build that mindset, it's always make things easier.
I think okay, I'll definitely agree with you on that one. Just having that approach to listening first. I think I would agree with you on that. So our final question: as a growth marketer, in payments and financial services, what unique challenges have you faced to drive growth and customer acquisition? And then, of course, how have you overcome these challenges?
It's been a stormy it's been a stormy ocean. Yeah, and it's always a stormy ocean, especially if you're in a space that is saturated as like payments and financial services like ours. So challenge that we face is, I've come to realize, and the people I work with, we've come to realize that the attention span of people is wearing out. So it takes even less and less time to get people attention. It takes less and less time to get people to use, to get people to listen to you. Then it take more and more effort to get people to try you out. It's going to take more and more effort to get people to stick around. So a unique challenge, especially in going new product, is incentives don't keep people. Yeah, I think it's so everywhere. It's so clouded. It's so water. There's always one uh, Bazia. You know, incentives don't keep people. Feelings, or would I say, perception do. Earlier in the conversation, we were having a conversation about how Apple, as compared to its competitors, how you know it's been able to navigate some of its market challenges, and overcoming this challenge is tackling the major need with the right amount of support. So you will often see people come back once you have functionality in check and emotions in play. So one of the unique challenge that we face in is that we understand that attention span of users has dropped drastically. So while we are in a challenge to fight for other things happening in people's life, you understand, and not forgetting that there are also traditional means, of course, whereby I tell you to make your bill payments using your app. There's still the traditional ways of doing it, whereby you can walk into the Bella head office. You remember the good old days where we have to go to um, maybe our cable station. We have to go 10,000 miles to go get a cable agent to make payments, and the cable agent. So some people still go through that traditional means. So the attention span is dropping, but one way that we've been able to tackle this effectively is having emotions in play, giving the right amount of support, where people understand that why do I need to go through all of this stress? Why do I need to go through this app when my app, this app, or these people are here to help me all through the way? And all the time putting that into play, it always help, and that has actually helped navigate every type of challenge that has come, every type of competitors that has advised, that has helped us understand, help us navigate that. Yeah.
I'm snapping my fingers. You're dropping gems. You're dropping gems. That's so interesting.
Yo.
Wow, thank you so much. I feel like you've been so open, right? I feel
Yeah.
like you've been so open, and anyone who's really interested in this space has definitely learned a lot today, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
being on the podcast. Do you have any final words, parting words to for the audience?
uh Final words I really want to say is everybody think marketing is so easy till they start to market, you know. So it's not just products, it's mindset. That's just it's mindset. We are trying to buy into people's mindset, and that's it. When we push products, when we build buyers persona, we are buying into their mindset. When we buy into their mindset, they pick us as their go-to, they see us as their lifestyle partner. And once you've been able to like position your products functional wise, you know, emotional wise, do that positioning into the mindset of your target audience, you most definitely will scale. I think that's like my 2 cents.
That is amazing, actually. I think I might make that the title of this episode. Is not just product, it's mindset. I really love
Yo.
that. Thank you.
Yo.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being on podcast today.
I'm honored.
And that wraps up our insightful conversation with Emmanuel Ojo, the growth marketer extraordinaire. We hope you gained valuable insights from his unique perspective, from his hunger for knowledge and passion for experimentation, to his drive to deliver exceptional results. Emmanuel has truly showcased the qualities that make him a rising star in the industry. As we conclude this episode, we encourage you to reflect on the key takeaways from our discussion, embrace the lessons learned, the challenges faced, and the aspirations shared by Emmanuel. Let his journey inspire you to push the boundaries of growth marketing, to seek innovative strategies, and to constantly strive for excellence. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. If you have any questions or suggestions, please complete the form linked in the show notes or shoot me an email at iwalolashoboale@gmail.com. The email address will also be linked in the show notes. Remember to subscribe to the Spotlight podcast and follow me on LinkedIn to stay up to date with the latest episodes. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep pushing the boundaries of possibility.